stand here today and support this bill, because this government is about solutions, and this bill is one more example of another solution that this government has put forward to fix a gap. And this bill does actually fix. There has been a technical error in a previous bill, which this bill is the solution for. That's why it's called a pre-implementation adjustment bill. So it's my pleasure to stand here tonight and support this bill, support our hard-working Minister, Minister Power, who's the Minister of Commerce, one of the most hardest-working Commerce Ministers we have seen in this Parliament in a long time. But at the same time, I need to acknowledge the Leanne Dazal, who the previous Minister was, since she's chair of the Select Committee that I sit on Thursday. So I'd also like to acknowledge a bit of work that she did in the previous term as well towards financial services and the solutions that we're looking at right now. So what does this bill do? This simplifies the Financial Advisors Act, reduces costs and encourages public confidence. But really it's just a technical amendment, this bill, and it focuses on a very narrow area. That is on focusing on changes to qualifying financial entities. For us who are in the sector, chartered accountant by trade, know a bit of the jargon, that's a QFE. So what is a QFE really? Well, it's a company which is approved by the Securities Commission to take responsibility for advice which employers and contractors provide to basically mums and dads out there, anybody that's looking to invest in a product. So there's been a bit of a technical glitch here, whereas in the bill that was put forward in 2008, QFEs would only protect employees, but we know many industries, many companies out there employ contractors, which this bill actually didn't cover at all. So it's ensure that a big company which is a QFE, not that there are any at the moment because that bill hasn't come into implementation yet, but an example of a company which would be a QFE would be a bank or an insurance company where they've got many financial advisors on site with their own training in place, and so it would mean that not every advisor would have to be licensed. They'd be under the umbrella of the QFE, and the QFE is monitored by the Securities Commission and a regulatory board as well. So we've got these changes in place to name individual contractors so they'll be covered by this umbrella, to ensure that these contractors and employees under a QFA can give advice on complex products such as shares, whereas in the previous bit of legislation they weren't allowed to do that, and also to provide financial services for products which they are not only an issuer for. Before you could only promote a product if you were the issuer. Now under this bit of legislation it will allow you to promote any product even if you aren't an issuer. So it's just a very technical nature really that this bill is addressing. So I'm just going to take a very short call on this, because at the end of the day this is actually about getting the confidence back in the markets, allowing people to be able to invest with confidence and believe that the advice they're receiving from financial advisors is good advice. Because we know there's been a track record for a number of years now where financial advisors haven't been regulated and the advice that they've given hasn't always been spot on. In fact, in many cases it's practically been negligent. So this is to get confidence around there, because there's a whole generation of investors in New Zealand, our mums and dads investors who aren't sophisticated investors, which don't understand financial products but want to get a return from their money. And they've been, a lot of these people who are in their late 50s, late 60s, 70s now, they got burnt in the share market, they got burnt in managed funds, they got burnt with finance companies, and there's not a lot now for them to go and invest in which they feel safe. So it's important that over a period of time we get these regulations in place, we assure the advice that they're getting is good, solid advice, so they can have confidence to co-invest out in the markets a little bit more, as opposed to just leaving their money in the bank and getting a smaller return because there's a lot less risk attached to it. But there's no silver bullet in these markets and about getting the confidence back, and there's no one answer. So this is one step in a number of steps and a number of tools in the toolbox which we're doing to ensure that there's confidence back in our markets in New Zealand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It was a pleasure to endorse this bill tonight.